In this video I'm going to show you how to make this retro gaming console using a Raspberry Pi 3 running RetroPie. Let's get started. Just a little side note before we get started. I'm not going to be showing how to do all the software upload or how to do ROMs or anything like that, but there's plenty of good videos like that on YouTube. I'll leave a couple of links in the description. I eventually will want to overclock my Pi, so I wanted to integrate a cooling fan system. I found these fans at Goodwill for a couple bucks each. To get started, I milled down some rough cedar, then used a table saw to cut my pieces to their final length using a stop block to ensure each set of sides was identical in length. I then installed a dado blade to cut a dado on each end of the front and back pieces, as well as the bottom of the four sides. Using glue, clamps, and pin nails, I then constructed the sides of the box. Once the sides were dry, I installed the bottom. With the glue dry, I started laying out all the different components. First, I started with the fans. I will have one installed on each side blowing in the same direction to maximize airflow across the Pi's heatsink. I marked and drilled the 4 mounting holes, then laid out the pattern for the vents. And at the drill press, I drilled all the holes for the vents. I wanted the overall look of this project to be very simple, so I laid out the power cord outlet, fan switch, and HDMI outlet on the back face. Then I used a drill and jigsaw to cut out the openings for each. Now with the location of the fans and switch determined, I can solder them together with the power supply, using heat shrink to cover all the exposed connections. I did not install one here, but I would recommend using a fuse in the circuit. I will probably add one later. With that done, I moved on to installing my HDMI outlet. I was originally going to use this orange gang box, but I figured out that it would be simpler and take up less space without it. The last piece I wanted to install on the back was the power outlet. Just a warning, if you do not know much about electricity, then I would recommend just cutting the hole and running 2 separate power cords for the fans and the Pi. However, I wanted to power both the Pi and the fans from one plug. I salvaged this one from an old computer power supply. I soldered it to the end of an extension cord and covered the connections with heat shrink. I then glued a block to the bottom panel to elevate where the Pi will sit, so it will have a clear path of airflow from one side to the other, and I installed the rear part of the top. With the glue dry on that, I can then install the forward top piece. This will have hinges and a latch to allow easy access if needed. With the overall construction complete, I removed as many of the components as I could and sanded to 320 grit, then applied 3 coats of polyacrylic, lightly sanding between coats. With the finish dry, I could then install all the components, using hot glue and zip ties to aid in cable management. The last component I wanted to install was a power switch. As you know, the Pi does not have a built-in on-off switch, so I found a video online showing how to do this using very simple code. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can go check it out. Now with this project complete, we can plug it in and start playing some of the greatest games ever made. I hope you liked this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comments section. And definitely don't forget to like and subscribe.